Hello, hello,
Hi,
hello. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Candice.
and I'm Rikki.
And Rikki, we are missing Erin, who is on assignment doing things. She's out of the country, but we are wishing her nothing but the best.
Yes,
It's us tonight, but I'm always happy to chat with you. So,
of course. It's going to be a great time.
so how's your week been? It's good to, like I said, it's starting to get the weather is doing all the things right now where it gets like really
Yeah,
warm and then it's raining and all of that. How are you braving all of this weather?
I feel like I'm back into a flow of like wanting to be outside and wanting to walk and do all those things. Am I doing it every day now? Not yet, but I'm going out a little more frequently than before. So that's felt really good. And it's just been so nice. Like you said, it's been rainy. It got really warm like a month ago, and then it got cold again, and then it didn't
No.
stop raining. So I think that definitely helps, not just with mood, but like desire to get out and go walking and all of that.
And you are affected for those who don't have a Peloton. I know that in the Peloton world, there's been like recalls
Mhm.
of like bike seats. And I think someone posted it in our Facebook group. So um,
Yeah.
I'm thankful my bike, there's different brands, wasn't affected, but I know that yours was. So I know that
Mhm.
probably made it a little difficult if you weren't out walking, to
Yeah.
go.
I
Yeah.
did take a little pause. I mean, thankfully, Peloton has a lot of, yeah, as you know, other exercise activities. And then for people who don't even have Pelotons, I mean, YouTube has a great resource. So I think it could be used as an excuse to not do anything. But I did just go on the bike just now, safety recall and all. I hadn't gone on it in a little bit, but I felt like, I could do a 15-minute ride, and I did a 20-minute ride.
Good
Um,
for you. I was trying to give you an out. See, look, you went ahead. Miss Honestly, Rikki.
so
She's like, I just want to tell the truth.
I used it as an excuse for a little bit. I did. But I was like, you know what? I've been using the bike for a long time. I know I need to be cautious, but use it every single day. Not that I was using it every single day,
Yeah.
but yeah, it can easily be an excuse. And I decided not to make it an excuse.
Well, good. Bravo star for that. If I had
Thank
one, I don't
you.
still don't have my gloves from
Oh
Nadine.
no.
I have them, Nadine, if you're listening. I just don't have them down here. But
I know.
that's a perfect opportunity because you definitely legitimately could have said, I'm going to use this settlement as an excuse to say I can't get on the bike. And then with the weather being back and forth, it's
Mhm.
something. So, congratulations to you.
Thank you. How about you? How's everything been going for you?
It was fun. We went to go see my grandmother for
Oh.
Mother's Day. And so I always tend to do well being out of town.
Mhm.
I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know what it is about me and being out of town and weight loss, but like it happens.
Yeah.
And not because I'm necessarily like overly counting my foods, but I'm moving a lot. So I
Mhm.
got in, we walked in the morning. And I think it was a new route and just being able to kind of experience, new scenery and wanting to check it
Mhm.
out. I was able to get like 10, 15,000 steps each day that I was
Wow.
there. So, scale wise, it was very nice, but also I just felt, I don't know, I felt it was great to get out of the routine.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
think that really says a lot about what you prioritize and the fact that you're prioritizing fitness. And you probably don't even see it as that. Do you see it as fitness when you're on
no.
vacation and moving? No, that's
Mm-mm. And I think my grandmother is like we call it in the boondocks where like there's limited talk about like going back 100 years or 500 years where there's no like technology. She has a clothesline and
wow.
everything's about getting out and walking the fields and looking at things. So I just think that by
Mhm.
something about the disconnect, like it wasn't intentional that I was doing it just to say I'm going to hit 15,000,
Mhm.
but just enjoying nature and being able to see things and choosing to walk there instead of driving, or I know this sounds crazy, but taking the tractor. Like I'm talking about she's that country. Like you take the tractor to go somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
I've
yeah.
never seen that before.
Just wait till you come see. I'm gonna have you come over. She has a butter beans and cornfields and peanuts and
I can't
anyway.
wait to meet her.
Yeah. But when I was on vacation, there was something I wanted to discuss. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, I want to talk to Rikki about this," because I have had the same like workout clothes. When I wanted to go out walking, I was looking and I was like, "I am so tired of the stuff I have, the activewear that I have." And I went to Target and I
Okay.
bought some new activewear. And you would have thought that like my whole persona had changed, right?
Mhm.
It was cute. I got like these pink like legging pants and this
Fun.
sports bra with this top, like the stuff that you see influencers wear when they're like, "Oh, buy this Buff Bunny." It was not Buff Bunny, it certainly wasn't. But I felt really good
Mhm.
going out and walking with my husband because I wasn't wearing the frumpy kind of clothes that I normally do when I work out.
Mhm.
And it made me think, why have I waited this long to buy myself things that make me feel good with clothing? And I realized
Mhm.
it's because I'm always waiting until I get to this like goal weight that I've set that I haven't actually hit yet. It's like I don't feel like I deserve new clothes until I get to this goal. And I
Mhm.
wanted to talk to you about that because you and I had talked about influencers, not the influencers, but like the body positivity movement.
Mhm.
And that's something that I know is a big discussion about loving your body now and
Yeah.
dressing and wearing clothes that fit right now.
Mhm.
Have you recently or ever bought clothes in the size that you are now that made you really change your outlook on yourself?
It's hard because, I'm still getting myself to the place where I'm not at the highest weight I've been. I'm still so close to my highest weight. And the great thing is that there's been so many stores that I love and adore that have really expanded their plus size clothing range. And I appreciate that. Like we did talk about with the body positivity movement. I think it's a great my caveat is for me personally, I want to be healthy. And I think there are plenty of people, that's the distinction. There are people who are overweight and outside of the BMI expectations who are healthy. For
Mhm.
me, this is not a healthy weight, and I want to get at range. And I find that the clothes that they do make maybe tailored a little bit differently, but the style still, I put it on and I feel like I'm wearing a muumuu,
Mhm.
even if it's from Anthropology, and I have this beautiful tulle ballerina skirt, and it's so beautiful in the hanger, and I'm sure it comes in a size 00 and a size 10. It also comes in a size 18, 20, which is what I needed, and it fits, but it it doesn't look good to me.
Sure.
And I think that my challenge too is like, as I'm doing the work, as I'm, and it's taking forever. I'm not crockpot. It's taking forever. As I'm doing the work, getting to where I need to be. How can I change my mindset to love the way I look as
Mhm.
I'm losing the weight? And I think that's the hardest thing. And I think it ties in so well. I'm glad you brought up this topic because that's my question to add to the two. I think it's all so closely tied together, how I
Mhm.
feel about myself, how I look, and my behaviors. And I
Mhm.
think so many people would say, well, look, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like it, why don't you just change it? It's this cycle. It's a cycle of negativity that leads me back to comfort, which has been food for so many years of my life.
Yeah.
So
If there was an answer to that question, I mean, come on. Like, why don't you just stop telling someone who smokes cigarettes, just
right.
stop it. Just stop drinking. I
Right.
mean, we've talked about the addictive nature of it,
Mhm.
but something that you said that I really wanted to kind of maybe go deeper with, even for myself, is I agree. Some of the plus size clothing that they have, even when you put it on, it's not the fit that you may want and all of that,
Mhm.
but compared to what you could wear
Mhm.
if you weren't trying,
Yeah.
is kind of where I think I could live, and I could blame my toddler, but I could live in like sweatshirts, like, like t-shirts and like the holy, you
Mhm.
know, jeans or sweatpants.
Mhm.
Um, and nobody would say anything. And I could blame it partly, I do it because sometimes it makes me feel like I'm hiding my body,
Mm.
because some of the things that even if they're in my size, they may be a little more concentrated in areas that I don't want people to see. Or I wear muted colors, dark, black pants, black top. Like I saw someone did a meme that was like, I'm just gonna change out my black winter clothes for my black summer clothes. Like, like that's what I'm about to do. It's still black. Um, but it still affects how I feel. So even if it's
Mhm.
not that it's the most flattering all the time, I found that with this change, just with my athletic wear, it still was an upgrade. It's not exactly where I want to be, but I found myself like, well, I don't want to pay money for these clothes at this size because I don't plan to be here for very long. So then that's a waste. And you know me, I'm the money girl. So I'm like, this is a waste. I'm not going to do it. But the psychological change of just taking time to care,
Mhm.
um, I was surprised because it made me want to go out and do more
Wow.
because I was okay with what I was wearing. And it wasn't in the size that I wanted, but it was
Mhm.
prettier than the holy sweatpants.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm wondering if there's that middle ground of
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be that it's exactly fitting, like the way that we want or it's the size that we want,
Mhm.
but it's not the holy stuff either. Because I feel like
Yeah.
we punish ourselves.
Mhm. And I think we like you said, we don't make ourselves look as presentable as we want. I've told myself many times, like, I would wear this designer or that designer if I was just skinny or if I just this. Well, I saw a Chanel ad the other day that had a plus size model in it. And it's not to say I'm going to go out and buy Chanel because that's a whole
Mhm.
nother issue about whether or not I can afford Chanel. But like, there's options now. And I think sometimes for me, with the clothes that I have bought that I'm not quite sure about, but are a step up, like you're talking about with the yoga pants. Sometimes I just have to walk out the door and say, I may not love the way I look right now, but I'm wearing a nice outfit. I can stand in front of the mirror and nitpick over and over and over again. My thighs are too big. My calves are too wide. My arms are exposed and they're, too stretch mark fill, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Or I can just go out the house and say, this is a step towards me loving myself the way I should,
Yeah.
because I can cover up. I can wear that hoodie and, jean, go to meet up with my friends, or I can put on a dress that may look a little bit like a tent,
Mhm.
but fits me and has a pretty pattern. And maybe that's a step in the right direction towards me
Yeah.
really caring for myself and doing things that are nice for myself.
Yeah, and I think it's in the moment nice because
Mhm.
this obsession, I feel, whether we call it punishing or not, it really is a form of punishment to
Mhm.
say, I don't deserve good things right now.
Mhm.
And if I'm honest, I also found myself being a bit resentful of the people who were like grabbing life by the horns and saying, well, I'm just going to embrace who I am. And the confidence that they exude, it was highlighting what I felt I was unable to do. And I
Mhm.
was looking and journaling because, I love journaling. And I was saying, is it that I am unable or I'm unwilling?
Hmm.
I don't want to fit into that stereotype. I don't want to be the overweight person who you had to create a special line for to be able to, be in with the regulars and in the regular store, but I have a special size, it's like big and
Mhm.
tall. You get to go over here and all your stuff is over
In the
there.
back
I
of the
want to
store.
not, yeah, I want to not fit that mold.
Mhm.
But if that's the reality of where I am right now, it's the reality of where I am. And
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that I am saying I'm going to stay here forever.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that I am by honoring my body where it is and treating myself well. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I'm excusing the fact that I know that I want to do better or that I need to lose the weight. Um,
Yeah, I think one thing you said, I'm stuck on it. Doesn't mean I'm staying here forever.
yeah.
Because do we sometimes think that subconsciously we're giving ourselves permission to, like, well, I just bought this really nice dress
Mhm.
and I spent this money and I might as well, stay at this weight. I mean, I don't know that we're actually saying those things out loud, but do we're smart.
Yeah.
We have these thoughts that don't come out, that
Yeah.
maybe are in the back of our head, not even in the forefront. And I wonder if we're thinking that sometimes, or thinking that we could use that as an excuse.
Yeah. And then I'm also still adding to this a whole nother layer that I know for you and for the two of us, we've talked a lot about is the over emphasis on the opinions of others.
Mm-hmm.
And I had shared on my personal Instagram page, honestly, Candice, that I had, I completed and beat cancer, and I have a port scar that I put on a bathing suit. And that was a whole big thing because I was like, I bought a bathing suit and I got new boobies because it was a breast cancer journey, and I got this port scar, and I was overly obsessed with how are people going to perceive what I'm looking like in this outfit with this scar. And I feel like I do the same thing with clothes. Like, what are people going to think if I wear pink? I'm wearing color. That means that people are going to be attracted to looking at me. I don't know what are they going to think, look at that big girl wearing color. Like, and then I said the same thing I said in my Instagram video, like, it doesn't matter. I know that it's easy for me to say it, but I really have to internalize. It does not matter if the thought is, look at that big girl wearing pink pants or look at that girl with the scar in the bathing suit. Most likely people don't care. If they do, the ones who do, they'll get over it. They're way too consumed with their own stuff, right? Than to be preoccupied with you and your pink pants. And I like pink. So
me too.
But it's color, and color to me means attract, and that means that there could be attention. And when you're not comfortable with you, attention is the last thing that you want. It's like you kind of want to just fade into the background. I want to look cute, but I want to fade in. Don't say anything about it.
So the thing that I think we're not real about with ourselves, and something I've had to learn, is regardless of what I'm wearing, I still take up space. I am overweight. I'm very much overweight. I take up space. Like sometimes I'll squeeze past something and even still to this day be like, oh, I really thought I wasn't going to knock that piece of paper off the table, but I did. And so whether I'm wearing an all black outfit or a color filled outfit, I'm still the same size. And I can choose to hide myself, or I can choose to expose myself, or not came out.
That's what she said. No, but yeah, it's like hiding with the pillow. I don't know why I'm making this a pillow. This is a random item. But you think that you put the pillow in front of your stomach and then nobody can see you. So it's like, oh, no one can see now that I have a belly because the pillow is hiding it. No, it's not. People know what's behind there.
It's like I've never thought about that before, because in psychology there's a term for it. I'm not thinking of it, but there's something that happens when you're developing. At a certain stage, you think, let's say I'm going to hold this up. At a certain stage, you think that doing this makes you invisible. And that's what, like a 1.5, 2-year-old will do this when playing hide and seek. And just for you guys who are listening on the podcast book, and I'm putting it over my face, you can see the rest of my body. And, parents think it's cute. But like kids learn eventually that, oh, my whole body needs to be hidden. They can still see me if I why do we revert back to thinking that we're, if we put a little book in front of us, or, we've gotten crafty.
Yeah. And I think instead of attacking the harder question, which I think I have felt hasn't been a possibility. Can you be confident when you're not at your goal or close to it? Is there space for confidence before your journey is at its end? Or, and I think that I've always said, no, there's no way that I can be truly confident until I've lost the weight. And so, go Rikki.
So the other thing though is, I'm not speaking this into existence, but I am planning on losing over 100 pounds. And what happens with a lot of people who lose over 100 pounds, you have saggy skin, and I know that doesn't happen to everyone, but I've carried a lot of weight for a long time, and that's something that could happen. Is my body going to be perfect, or what I determine to be perfect, when I lose all the weight? So we say that's the end of the journey, and I need to love myself until I get to that point where I love myself at the end of the journey. But there's going to be things that I don't love about myself at that point too.
So then it's always going to be this goalpost that we push for confidence. And one thing I admire and want and truly am working on doing is taking what I see from those who are at my weight now and who have embraced it in terms of their presentation to the world. Because when you're confident, there's just a different way that you flow. And
Mhm.
I think we've just like we talked about, confidence doesn't mean it's an excuse
Mhm.
to stay. It just means I love me now.
Mhm.
I love me enough. I find when I am confident or when I'm acting confident or feel good about something, I might choose the healthier option.
Mm.
I'm I'm feeling like I'm feeling good about myself. So I want to do things that reflect that, whether
Yeah.
that is exercising or is doing this. But overall, the way I speak to people is different. I'm not
Mhm.
doing the hi, hi, yeah, oh yeah, oh, I'm sure. I expect people to treat me well because
Yeah.
I'm treating myself well.
Yeah.
And I think that there has to be a reckoning for myself to say that needs to be the focus right now because
Mhm.
it's wearing those new clothes that because I haven't bought myself new clothes in such a long time.
Mhm.
It was like life changing. Like David was like, "You're really proud of yourself." I was like, "Do you see this? Like this." He's like, they're nice. They're pink, and you got a couple pairs. Good for you. But that just shows you that it doesn't take much. It could be a
Mhm.
new headband, it doesn't have to be even be clothes, it could be accessories.
Mhm.
Just something that you're doing for yourself because you feel you deserve it in the moment,
Yeah.
and not saying that it has to wait. And that's
Yeah.
really important coming up on this summer season because,
Yes.
this is the time where we've talked about it for the few years that we've been doing this, hiding bodies is like a big thing because everything's shorts and arms out,
Mhm.
belly tight things and,
It's a tough time of year. I mean, it really is. So something I was thinking about as we were talking, going back a little bit to when you're talking about, just not caring about what people think.
Mhm.
I feel like we haven't really talked about this, but there are mean people out there.
Oh,
There
yeah.
are mean people who, there was something I was watching. It was a TikTok where this woman was demanding or trying to advocate for heavier set people to have uh, it as extra seat for free. I
Mhm.
don't necessarily agree with that point, but I was listening to what she was saying, and I like to look in the comments and different things, and
Mhm.
the comments were just
Yeah.
awful. I mean, comparing her to an animal, like just the things that you would never want to say about anyone else, and you'd wonder why anyone else would say that. So, like, fat phobia is a thing, and mean behavior towards people who are overweight is a thing.
Mhm.
So going into the world that we're going to go into and maintaining that confidence is something we know is going to be hard, but
Yeah.
I think we have to choose every day to say someone might be talking about me in the pig pants. I might bring a little more attention to myself if I wear shorts or a but I'm going to do it anyway because that person saying that mean thing says more about them than it does about me.
100%. That's what I was gonna say. Hurt people.
Mhm.
And the flip side of that, because I 100% agree with you, that there will be comments. There's somebody who may have seen me in the pink pants and said, "Who is she to wear that?"
Mhm.
But there are people who are in thinner bodies
Mhm.
who are talked about the same way for features they can't. Look at her with her small chest. Look at her
Mhm.
with her big butt. Look at her head. Look at this. There's something that people I have found
Yeah.
in these Instagram in this social media world. There's something that everybody's picking apart.
Mhm. That's
Weight
true.
may be one of them, but it could be, they don't like how you put your ensemble together. They just don't like your skirt. I mean, and it's
Mhm.
not because it's too big or small. They just don't like the pattern. So they're like, look at you with that pattern. So I feel like if we live our life, obsessed, and that's something that's, like I said, easier said than done, because
Mhm.
especially when you put yourself out there. And
Yeah.
yes, wearing colors is you feel like attracting, like saying, I'm open to that's how I felt though again with the port scar. I'm gonna wear
Mhm.
this thing and I'm not wearing a cover up over it. I
Wow.
could go and try to freak out and try to find something, or I could just walk in and do it.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? No
What?
one said anything. So if but I'm not saying that, but to your point, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that nobody talked about me. I don't know if they
Mhm.
did. I
Mhm.
know that it didn't impact my ability to have fun with my husband and my son at the pool.
Yeah.
So whether they talked about it and spent their time like analyzing and talking to whoever they were with about me, I was immune to it. And if I did know it, I still would have to put it in its proper place and say, what happened to you? And some psychologists say that, say, what's going on? Like
Mhm.
what's happening with you that you feel the need to be so cruel? What do
Mhm.
you mean? That says more about something that's going on with you. You must not like yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. I think sometimes I've heard that in deflecting comment a lot of times, like even just saying, wow, I'm not sure if you meant that to sound that way, but it sounds like you're angry and I don't know you, or things like that. Like,
Yeah.
just, do you know what you said? And
Yeah.
that's
Are you
harder.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're saying, no, are you okay? Because I was
Yeah.
just like, wow, that was are you doing okay? Like, and then they're like, well,
Mhm.
first of all, no, I'm just asking because it just seems like that,
Mhm.
you're dealing with a lot.
Do you feel like I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to use that kind of response, but do you feel like you would need or have needed to practice that? Or do you think it comes natural now?
I haven't had to use it yet. I always said I would. I had a YouTube channel a long time ago, when I had my weight loss journey, 2010, and I'll never forget. I got my first like hate comment, and it was on a video that was totally not even one that you should have like a hate comment for. I was making like a smoothie, like the healthiest thing you could do, and they're like, "Look at your fat fingers." They told me I had like King Kong fingers or something.
Wow.
I remember I was like, but that's just so I would have thought it would have been on the outfit, but like I can't change my fingers. Like
I don't mean to laugh at that, but like, why?
like look at the fat fingers over there slicing strawberries. You shouldn't be on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay. I feel like that would have been a moment if I wanted
Mhm.
to respond. I
Right.
didn't. I didn't feel the need to, but I could have been like, are you okay? Like,
Is somebody hurting you,
who's hurting
actively
you?
hurting you?
I'm making a strawberry smoothie. Like, I mean, of the things to like get on me for,
Mhm.
my fat fingers are slicing fruit. Like, this is a good thing.
Right.
I don't know what your problem is.
Oh, goodness.
But, my point, I guess that is when I learned there's nothing that I can do. So, no, to answer your question, I haven't had to practice it yet. I always in my
Mhm.
mind feel like I'm ready. I always think of who's that thing that goes, put them up, put them up. There's some character.
It's I have it in my
Put
mind.
them up,
It's
put
one
them
of
up.
those.
Is it Wizard of Oz? No.
Yes, the lion, Cowardly Lion.
I'm like ready. I'm ready for it. But I probably still would be a little cowardly. I'd be like, because I don't love conflict, but
It's not easy, but I think that's something you can practice. It sounds silly to say, but I think if we know what we're gonna say in our head and have some type of rehearsal, and
we
again,
do
not
that,
that we're
Rikki.
anticipating bad things, but I think to protect ourselves, we have to know how to respond and not get out of what people say.
Why don't we get some bubble tea this weekend and then
Okay.
meet up and then
Okay.
like hurl some insults at each other and just see how we'll take it? Like, look at you drinking that bubble tea. You think you should have it? You should we could do
Those
some role play.
fingers, those fingers.
You'll be like, well, I know I don't have King Kong fingers. So
All right. So I can't wait. We got to do this in public too, so people stare at
oh,
us.
like, we're gonna talk to y'all forever. Just remember, guys, people are gonna have comments about anything that you
Mhm.
have. But if you have the outfit that you want to wear now, I encourage you to buy it.
Yes.
There's gonna be, of course, you can buy things along the journey, and it may not fit the best the way, but it's better than the holy sweatpants.
Hmm.
And gosh darn it, you deserve it. So
Yes. And
this
if
was
you're
a good topic.
feeling confident about it, share it with us. So
Yeah.
we've had a great conversation tonight. We just want to remind you of all the places that you can find us. So in our Facebook group, our Instagram, you can find us on. You can email us at our Gmail, realbwtalk@gmail.com. We're streaming anywhere you like to download your podcasts, and you can also connect with us on Connect.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.